Hello again, and thank you once more for joining me on Trial by Error, Learning Through Failure with UberNoob Shadowcat. I, again, am UberNoob Shadowcat, and today we are going to go through part 2 of the curvature template sculpting thing that I've got going on. One of the points of this video series is that I've never done this before. I've never really, this is all brand new to me. Uber noob Shadowcat. I'm a noob, superly noobish. The reason this is called Trial by Error, Learning Through Failure, there are some things that I didn't quite take into account, so you get to make the same mistakes I do! Or at least watch while I make them. But hopefully you'll learn from my mistakes so you don't have to. Yesterday, at the end of the video, I removed the template. What I didn't realize is that in order to use it again and have the process be repeatable, you need to put the template back in exactly the same place from which it was removed. If I had been thinking about it, I would have marked where it was, because if it's not exactly right, it could be off in its orientation a little bit. The curvature could end up being different the second time around. I've gotten it to what I think is as close as I'm possibly going to get it. And today, what I'm going to do is, I've got some clay melting on the stove right now, and once that gets all melted, I'm going to pour it along here, and hopefully try not to make a huge mess, and use the template again to push the melted clay down onto the spots where it doesn't quite meet. Hopefully that will smooth it out some. Hopefully it will fill in where it's too low. So I'm going to go get the clay off the stove. I'm going to bring it back here, and I'm going to hope it works, so fingers crossed. Okay, so I've got my clay here all melted. See that? Yummy. Yummy clay. Now, I'm doing this in my living room, which is probably a really, really bad idea. But I'm going to try and be careful, because if it makes a mess, my wife is going to kill me. So, alright, here we go. Thinking the best way to do this is probably to start from, not the top, but maybe about here. Yeah, so, alright. Oh boy. Like I said, I'm kind of nervous. Really nervous. But you know what? All's fair in love and war. I don't know which one this is. But, wish me luck. I'm going to pour it very, very, very slowly. Minimize the mess and splash damage. Make sure I get it into the grooves. Madonna songs notwithstanding. Freaky. Oh my god. Alright. That's enough for now. Alright, here we go. Template is going. I'm doubting my sanity at this point. I'm going to say this was slightly ill-conceived. Oh dear. Oh, oh, look at that. All the work I've done. Get these grooves trenched, moved out, and here I am filling them back in. Might have to put this technique into the what the was I thinking category. So it's lumpy and uneven and messy. Just the way an experiment should be. Okay, so round one is over. Kind of mixed results, I would say. Let me see if I can show you this here. You can see that it got really, really bumpy, but you know, the template still moves around pretty smoothly, so it's not taking up very much. So these spots that are raised, or that are indents, are actually lower than the surface of the template. So that tells me that this could still work. I'm going to keep at it. I'm currently chopping up a clay ball here. I'm going to put some more clay on the stove. I'm going to keep trying it. And, well, the good news is I didn't get any on the floor. And it could just be that the low spots were so low that I have a lot to fill in, and that's why it looks so rough. Or it could be that this doesn't work. I'll find out after the next few applications. And right now, I'm going to go heat some more clay, and I'm going to keep trying this, and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching. Okay, so there's good news and bad news. The bad news is the clay pour method with the template does not work very well. I don't know why that is. I poured about 3 more applications of melted clay onto the sculpt, and every time it came out bumpy and messed up like that last one did. Like, you pour clay, and you run the template over, and it looks just as bad as the first time you did it. Pouring clay, not great. It's kind of messy, it's unpredictable, and it cools too quickly to be useful. You pour it on and it's nice and soft and squishy the way it's supposed to be, but it cools so quickly and it becomes more solid, and it ends up taking off as much as is going on, and it's really kind of ridiculous. But now the good news is I did end up putting on a bunch of clay by hand. Part of it I poured down and then used this guy right here, a little steely scrapey. So I poured it on, smoothed it out just ever so slightly, and then let it cool even more, and then ran the template. A couple other things of note. As I was working the template the last couple times, the pivot point had shifted pretty badly, actually. So what I ended up doing is took a couple of bottle caps, popped them into the sculpture, and used those as the center. And it's shifting a lot less. So there's just a little bit of reinforcement there was needed, and it worked. It's very much more consistent now. I'm also noticing that the template is a lot stiffer than cardboard, but it's still kind of flexible. So if you put more pressure on one side, it's still going to shift a little bit. So that worked out a lot better. And you can see now how much better it looks than it did. I'm going to bring this over here so I can show you a bit. Hey, look at this. See how smooth that is? It's very, very nice. It's making me kind of happy. The grooves are nice and straight and even, and just the whole thing turned out a lot, not quite as well as I'd hoped, but after the first application of clay pouring yesterday, a lot better than I expected it to.